Welcome, you guys. Welcome to another edition of Financial Fashion Talk podcast, show, episode 38. Such a pleasure to be back. I'm the CEO, Mr. John Best.
I'm the CFO, Mr. Riley.
So how's it going, big bro?
Hey, man. It's going pretty smooth, man. Pretty smooth and cool. I can't complain. You know what I mean?
I heard that.
Yeah, man. How you doing today, man?
Bro, I'm feeling awesome. I'm actually in a very, very good mood, bro. I had a real good day. I ain't have no bad energy today, bro. You know how sometimes you be feeling weird, like something is wrong, but it don't be nothing wrong. I had that feeling earlier this morning, but after I got over that feeling, it was pretty much a positive day, man. Going forward after that, so I had a pretty good day. What about yourself? Like, how was your day like?
Hey, man, I enjoyed it, man. I went out to get some breakfast and stuff this morning, man. And I went and hooked up with Mama, and I had to take her to do a few things. But shoot, man. Other than that, man, I just spent time today, man. That's all. I spent a little time today, man. And I wanna get into a more deliberate style, man, of spending time, man. I want to spend time. I don't want to spend money. You know what I mean? I love to spend money, man, but you know, I want to spend time. I want to spend some time, man. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, because time is so much more important. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got time, you really got money.
Well, right.
If you got time, you got time to make money. Like,
exactly.
You know, but time is more important though, because it's something that you can't get back. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, it depends on what you're doing with your time. You know, but you know, that's a whole nother conversation. You know, it's a whole nother conversation about time. But you know, I do, before we even get into a topic or before we even get into a podcast, I know we made it I wanted to make it a priority to bring some good news to the podcast. Like I said, man, before we hop into anything, we're gonna talk about some good news. And like I said, I got a website that we actually use. I got a website that we actually use to look up these news articles about positive news. So what I'm gonna do, man, I had looked up some today, bro, and it was a couple stories about COVID-19 that I was really amazed about. Let me see if I can pull that up though.
And that's been crazy, man, because man, it's crazy, man. They shutting these doctors down, man. It's crazy, man. Like they had the antidote and stuff like that. They saying they got, you know, what it takes to cure it or to help, you know, to help with it with the condition. But
Right.
man, they're not even letting them, you know, they're not even letting them put it out there, man.
Bro, I saw this right here, man. Do you see it on the screen?
Yeah, I see it.
And this man sailed, bro. He sailed across the Atlantic to see his father, bro. And it was an successful voyage. Like he really did it, bro. He set sail because when COVID hit, I read the article and everything, so I know what happened. Right. He said what happened. The flights, everything got delayed. You know, no flights was leaving out of where he was, and he was on this island in Argentina. He was on the island in Argentina, and he was trying to make it back home to Portugal, where he was from. So he actually sailed from Argentina all the way to Portugal because there were no flights leaving from the island. But he was trying to make it back home to his 90-year-old father because of the stuff that was going on. You know, he's 90 years old, you know what I'm saying? And then you wait across the country and you don't even know what's going on with your family. So, bro, he actually sailed 85 days across the Atlantic and made it home.
Wow. That's amazing.
And it's another one, bro, I wanted to show, man, about this couple who actually was battling with COVID. And it was a husband and a wife, actually. It was a husband and a wife. The wife actually had cancer. She was battling with cancer. And the husband, he didn't have cancer, but he did catch COVID. And because of his wife's, her immune system being compromised, you know, because having cancer in her body, you know, she was going through chemo and all of that. They had to stop the chemo because she ended up catching COVID. So she had COVID and cancer at the same time. But I'm gonna actually show the article because it's quite amazing, man, how a strong desire to survive or a strong desire to live, you know, or, you know, in your health as well. And I can kind of like in addition to that point, you can see the proof of that, you know, on shows or whatever. You know, when somebody about to die, you know, everything really like flashed before their eyes and they think about the reason why they living. You see what I'm saying? Once you think about what you have to live for, kind of gives you strength. Kind of like that why you was talking about, you know what I'm saying? That push you forward. Yeah, you know, it makes you want to live. You know, like when you sick, if you have a reason to survive, most people that have a reason to survive, they fight through it. But those who don't really have a reason to live for, they kind of just say, you know what, hey. But I'm gonna pull it up though. I'll pull it up because I was very inspired, you know, because it's not too much good news about COVID. So I really just wanted to shine a little light on some good news, man.
Yeah. And I got another thing about that COVID, man. You know, it's actually, and we'll search these facts as well, man. But it's more people that's recovered from COVID than it's people dying.
Hey, I can believe that. I can believe that because of the simple fact of most people don't even know they have it. Right. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and some who do know they have it, you know, I really don't even know, bro, honestly, because the test, I don't really trust the test because, you know, as soon as you walk out from taking the test, you can catch COVID. So at that point, your test really didn't matter.
Exactly.
So it's like,
so you test. So yeah, I saw one post. It said, you know, just because you get a negative test, that don't mean like you out the woods.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, at any time you get, you know, but you know what I'm saying, man? Like through it all though, you know what I'm saying? You see like cases like this, what you're showing right now, you know what I mean? And if it was more of this broadcast, then, you know, we could actually see, man, that there's more hope than hopelessness. You know what I'm saying?
Right, brother.
You know, in regards to this, you know, pandemic, man. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know, it's just a fear tactic, you know, to control the masses, man. You know, that's how I feel about it. But at the same time, you know, don't take your conspiracy and not be precautious. You know, we still be precautious at the same time.
Oh, most definitely, you know? Most definitely, because people are dying. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And if you can stay alive, stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not stay alive if you can stay alive? Like, I understand. Like, okay, COVID. They saying COVID may come from the towers, or, you know, at this point in the game, you know, as far as COVID, it really don't matter where it came from. Like, it really don't matter the reason why it's here, because it's here. And like, if you mess around and get it, you really don't know what can happen. Or like, and if you don't know whether you have it or not, you really don't know whether or not you're passing it on to somebody who will be affected by it or who will show symptoms by it. And so that's the crazy thing about it, man. It's really serious. But on the other hand, you know what I'm saying? It is hope, like you were saying. If we just, you know, do the proper things, you know, consider not only yourself, but consider other people. Like, you're not just wearing masks for yourself. You're not just staying clean for yourself, but you also staying clean for other people too. Because other people, you know, might not be as aware of it as you. You know what I'm saying? They might not be as knowledgeable of it as you. So the more knowledgeable you are, the more people you can help with it, and the more, you know, prevention, you know what I'm saying, that you can put out on it. Exactly. But anyway, man. Anyway, you already know what time it is. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start the podcast, man. Let's get into it. You already know that the people coming to see some valuable information, and we ready to drop it off on them. You did what I'm saying? So I'm excited about it. It's a very important topic. You know, it's very powerful. And anybody that actually want to join the panel, When the conversation start, we will have a time where you can actually join the conversation live if you want to. I already put the link in the caption. So if at any moment when we tell you that you can join the panel, feel free to join the panel and you can join the conversation live. Or you can just comment on Facebook and we'll have to get to your comment a little later. But to actually directly be with us, you can actually join the panel. That's why we came up with Zoom. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and get into the show, man. And I really wanted to talk about the power of the tongue. The power of the tongue and high vibrant communication. Because I realize in our culture, we say a lot of things that we don't really know that register with the brain.
Almost definitely.
You did what I'm saying? Like a lot of things that's in our vocabulary, your subconscious is taking it on because it believes everything you tell it. It believes everything you feed to it. So if whatever you tell yourself and whatever you feed out, you know what I'm saying, to the atmosphere, you believe in it, whether you consciously hearing it, consciously registering it or not. Words are spirits, and when you hear stuff, it goes inside of you. You did what I'm saying? Like whether you consciously hear it or not, it goes inside of your subconscious. Like you heard it when you didn't hear it. If you did what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying, you hear things without trying to hear them.
Right.
And when you say things, we're gonna get into that. I'm kind of moving a little too fast, but I kind of want to talk about the importance of the power of the tongue. So before we get deep into it, man, I know that this is so important. So I want you, you know what I'm saying, to talk about the importance of, the power of the tongue, not just saying, oh, the power of the tongue is important, but I kind of want you to let it resonate, with, your life. You did what I'm saying? Like, have you seen the effects, of, the change of your vocabulary or, your verbiage, how has that been of benefit, in your life?
Well, man, I could definitely say, it's not something that you automatically pay attention to. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's strictly based on like your surrounding. You know what I mean? Because to understand that wave, that frequency, like that has to be something that you are able to recognize. And like you said earlier, man, like we don't understand like that we do possess power. We possess power to actually change our situations. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, since we've only been exposed to the tongue of the what can I say, man? Like the tongue of the doubting. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
The tongue of the, like excuses, like, like all of that, man. Like you don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept it. But there are situations, man, like just recently where I seen that I deliberately, spoke it and deliberately thought it, and I deliberately did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to realize that before then, I was speaking things into reality and I ain't even understand about it. And I was wondering why, predicaments were, as they were. But I mean, a lot of times we don't realize, but we speak our situations like to be what they are. You know what I mean? Without even understanding it, without even understanding that we could change it or have a greater effect on it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I made a decision the other day to actually, not do something because there was something else that I had to do, and the result at the end of the situation turned out to be far greater than, if I would have.
Could you talk details?
Oh, okay. I drive Uber. I drive Uber at night. Yeah, I drive Uber at night. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't in the mindset of like, I have to do this. I have to do this because the next day we had to be in service. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, that's one thing I gotta work on. That's like being on time and stuff like that. But a lot of times, I think myself into doing things that are strenuous. You know what I mean? And
right.
and like you can take you move in that direction, but you think that you're doing the right thing. Like you think that you're doing like something that's beneficial to you. You know what I mean? And then at the end of it, it's like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. All right. So I had a situation where I said, okay, I was gonna drive tonight, but I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? And it was strictly because, I had an obligation and I also had other people depending on me. You know what I'm saying? So I just I just thought like, I don't have to be out here like, bustling and grinding like I think I have to. You know what I'm saying? God is my father and he's gonna take care of me. I went home and I went to sleep and I got up the next morning and was able to, be there uh to meet my obligation and also be there, for the people that were depending on me, man. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, we don't understand that, if we could just speak it and believe it, like you have to believe it. You know what I mean? You can't just speak it, but you have to believe it as well, for it to manifest into the physical, like you
Good,
want it to.
good answer, because that leads me to my next question. Because it
Uh-huh.
sounds to me, you said you deliberately did something. That was an act, like you actually did something. So that before you was able to get there, something had to happen before you spoke to yourself. Before you spoke to yourself and said, "Hey, I need to be at this place at this time, so I'm gonna not do this in order to meet my goal." So what happened? So my question is like, before you even get to the point where you say words, before you speak anything out, uh, do you feel like, well, of course it starts in the mind. That's really the point I'm making. Like before you even speak anything out, it starts with a thought in your mind because you had to think about it. You thought about, okay, look, tomorrow I have to be at a certain place at dot 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 dot. But the point I'm making is that you took control.
Right,
You
right,
see what I'm saying? You took control of it.
right.
You knew what you wanted to do in your head, and you spoke it out because you already knew it. You see what I'm saying? You already knew what you did. You already knew what you had to do.
Well, I say it,
I'm
it
really trying
came
to get
from,
to another point though, bro, because we got to get to the bottom of the power of the tongue. Because I'm not just trying to talk about the power of the tongue. I'm getting to the root of it. Because at the end of the day, bro, before you even talk, some people talk without thinking. I had that problem. You see what I'm saying? The power of the
me
tongue,
too.
it comes from thought. It definitely it comes like the root of it all is the thoughts in your mind. And sometimes we talk without thinking. You did what I'm saying? And like you were saying, we're becoming more aware of it. You become more aware of it. You see what I'm saying? And saying then you can kind of put a sensor on it. And you know how people say no filter? People that got no filter when they talk, it's because they talking without thinking and without controlling your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You'll just say things and you'll catch yourself saying, I'm stupid. Or you know what I'm saying? Like you say little things about yourself, about you say little things to yourself about yourself that you don't take serious, but your mind, like you hearing it, like I'm stupid, or I can't afford, or this always happens to me, or it's always something. You know what I'm saying? Like when you say those things to yourself, it registers in your mind, and you start to believe exactly what you say. Yeah. So if you say it's always something, you're right because you believe that it's always something. So you know what it's going to be. It's going to always be something.
Exactly.
So if you don't deliberately get a hold to your thoughts, you won't be able to control the power of the tongue. And so because the tongue is so powerful, you can actually bring bad things into your life. You did what I'm saying? Because of bad thoughts. Bad thoughts produce bad, tongue.
Situation. Bad
Uncontrollable,
thought.
uncontrollable mind. Yeah.
Right.
An uncontrollable mind gonna cause you to have an uncontrollable tongue. And because you started with an uncontrollable mind, you don't really have control over the circumstances in your life. So it just seeps over. You know what I'm saying? You believe everything that comes. You just go with the flow because you don't have any control and you're not really aware, you know what I'm saying, of your powerful well-being. You did what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Most definitely, man. Most definitely, man. And a lot of times we don't see like we construct that. We construct the negativity.
Right.
You know what I mean? We construct the negativity. And even like what we was talking about last week, you know, about exposure, you know what I'm saying? Like until your mind is exposed to the fact that the last decision that you made that screwed up a lot of stuff that's in front of you, until you get there and understand that, you know, I shouldn't think that way. I shouldn't talk that way about myself. Even with the little thing that you told me about, man, sometimes when we having a conversation and you lose your train of thought and you be like, I forgot. Like, you
Nah, don't
don't
say
say
that.
that.
You did
Like, I
forget.
didn't forget. It just got to come back. Like, I ain't forget. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But just with you saying that, like you saying, I forgot. So yeah, you gonna forget. You know what I'm saying? But just with something as simple as I forgot, you don't have to say that. Like that goes on a much broader scale.
It
You know what I
does,
mean?
man.
But deliberately doing it, bro, you have to actually get to a place where you can see that you got control. You know what I mean? That you possess that power to change the situation. But until then, like you'll continue to, you know, speak, 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 you know, the negative situations into your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
Right, man. And that goes to show you, I know we talk about the mind a lot because everything is the mind, you know, and when I was in school, man, studying psychology, you really don't realize that everything is psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, everything is psychological, you know, because everything registers through the mind. You know, everything, you know, when your eyes see something, you know, what you seen registers in your brain. I'm looking at a laptop screen right now. That when my eyes saw this screen, it registered in my mind that this is a laptop.
Right.
So everything is registered through the brain and through the mind. So everything is psychology. Everything is psychology. Business is psychology. Marketing is psychology. The media is psychology. The slave system is psychology. Everything is psychology because the one thing the mind is, if you can control the mind, you can control the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Control the mind of a thing, you can control the thing. So that's why everything is psychological, even down to the slave system, because it's all about control. That's what it is. So the mind is all about control. Just like if you have control of your mind, you got control of your thoughts. You can have control of your circumstances and your reality. You did what I'm saying? It's all about how you see it. Like I said, it's all about how you see it and how you register it in your mind. So for an example, a bad situation is only a bad situation by how you see it and how it registers and resonates with your brain. So the only reason you feel that a situation is bad is because you're thinking about it as a bad situation. So if your brain, if you tell yourself that it's not a bad situation, yourself will believe it, even though it probably is a bad situation. It could be a horrible situation, but if you train yourself, if you make yourself believe that the situation is not bad, you'll convince your brain that it's not a bad situation. The same way as people grow up in traumatic environments. The same way. You train your brain to think that it's normal.
Yeah.
But you don't
you normalize it. Yeah.
Right. But you don't intentionally do that though. Like you don't just because you don't have control, because you don't really realize that you have control of your mind and control of your circumstances and stuff, you normalize it automatically. You see what I'm saying? Like you don't have to think and be like, oh yeah, I'm about to normalize this, bro. Like nah, it automatically happens because you're not aware that you actually are in control. And that's why I say everything is psychological. Like people are in this system that we call, you know what I'm saying, life. How people live their life, they go to work, they go to school. We're caught up in this system, and a lot of times you don't even know that there is a system.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Because it's trained.
Exactly.
Like you just said, man, it's trained. Like it's trained. So just implement a new training. You know what I'm saying? But that only comes, man, when you realize what's happening. you
Right.
know. But until you realize that's what's happening, you know what I mean. It's still gonna be a unconscious thing. It's unconscious because it's common. That's a common thing. You know what I mean? That's why it don't look like a system, man. It don't look like a system because it look like what you're supposed to do. Like you get up in the morning and you go clock in at your job. Like that's what you're supposed to do because that's a train. That's training. That's been trained from generation to generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? But
To
all
be seen
generations,
as normal.
right, to be seen as normal. You know what I mean? But that's why I go back to exposure, man. Like different cultures are exposed to different things.
Right.
That's henceforth you got, you know, different cultures, like different mindsets. You know what I mean? People in business that's it's levels to it, and the people that's on certain levels have been exposed to greater information. You know what I'm saying? To greater knowledge. So that's why they own the level that they're on. But it's all about that exposure, man. So man,
Right.
I was thinking about that the other day, man. Dang, man, I feel like that's a whole nother podcast, man. But
Hey,
like
speak it, bro. Speak it.
apartments, like projects, the hood, like it's a train mentality. It's a train mentality, but it's been around so long. It's like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's what it is. Like it's good. It's good. You know what I'm saying? We shucks, man. It's a
You know
lot
what
of
I'm
things.
finding out, bro?
What's that?
I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm equating that. You know what I'm saying? Like it made me think about. It made me think about the question, what happened? Because when you were born, you didn't know what happened about how you was born.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you're born into these societies, you're born into these communities, you're born into, these environments without knowing what happened, without knowing how your family got there, without knowing how, your grandparents got there, without knowing how their grandparents got there. So you don't even know your own history. So it's like when you come into it, that's all you know. And nobody has enough knowledge to tell that nobody knows where they come from. You did what I'm saying? Like nobody knows. When you don't know where you come from, it's hard to tell where you're going.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like you don't even know where you came from. So what direction am I supposed to go? But I'm born here. So all I know is here. All I know is here and right now. You did what I'm saying? So that's how it is, bro. What happened? Nobody knows what happened. So you live, you just wake up and you live the life that you're given. You just play the cards that you were dealt.
Right.
You did what I'm saying? So the whole thing is self-identity. You know what I'm saying? Your identity, you know what I'm saying? Your awareness. And that's one of the biggest fights is identity. Understanding who you are, understanding the power of who you are. You know what I'm saying? Having acknowledged. You did what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, that's really the issue. None of us know.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. That's why I feel like, you know what I'm saying, the train mindsets was so easy because you already didn't have no identity. So it's like, here you go. Here go your identity, and you're not gonna question it because like you said, like that's where I was born at. You know what I mean? My mama was here. You know what I mean? My daddy was here. Like, so you're not gonna question it because that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like we wasn't always talking on this, but we wasn't always talking. This wasn't something that we was always talking about. You feel what I'm saying? And this is not, this is not something that we always talked about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is not something that has always, been a topic of discussion or whatever, man, because everything was normalized up until a certain point in life. For me, things were normalized up until a certain point.
Right.
So it was like, nah, this can't be it. You know what I mean? It's something, this can't be it. You know what I'm saying? But man, it's just a trained mentality, man, that was given to. It was given. It's given out. You know what I mean? I feel like, and I'm just speaking on, racial sense, bro. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking about just a mentality. I'm kind of speaking on a racial sense. you know what I mean, with Black people and the mentality that was fed, you know. And the reason I brought up like apartments and projects and stuff like that, man, because man, it was given. It was given. You know what I mean? You taken from your place that you knew to a place that you don't know. You're given a new identity that's not you. And for years and years and years, it becomes concrete. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is who I am. This is who I have to be. And it's not true.
To survive.
To survive.
Not thrive.
Right, to survive.
And not thrive.
Yeah. But you got to understand this. If you in a trained mentality, what's the difference? What's the difference? Can you tell a person like, nah, you not thriving? You know what I'm saying? You just striving. You just surviving. But to them, what they feel like they thriving. Like you telling me, I'm come from a certain way of life. You know what I'm saying? And something I've been adjusted to all my life. And you coming to me talking about, man, you ain't doing nothing but surviving. You know, you ain't thriving. But to me, I'm thriving.
What happened? That same question. You just got to let them know what happened. They don't know how they ended up in the project. They don't know why the system has swallowed up generation after generation after generation of public housing, project housing, Section 8 housing. Like, you got to just know, once you wake people up to what happened, they'll be aware of that. Like, they already know they're receiving help from the government, but they don't really know that the government is their slave master.
But everybody don't feel that. Well, what about this? What about if you do know what happened?
Some people just okay being slaves. And then some people just don't want to be a slave, but don't know how not to be a slave. And so the whole thing is just being aware. That's the whole thing. Like, we're not saying like the only thing that they need to know is what happened and their life's gonna be changed like that. It's not gonna happen like that. But what I'm saying is that's the reason why the problem it is the way it is. That's the reason why the problem is the way it is, because we don't know what happened. You just grow up and you just live through life, and you don't know why you the way you are. You don't know how you got there. You don't know how your mama got there. You don't know how her mama got there. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing about your history. So you don't even know that you're oppressed. I'm saying, okay, yeah, you live in a race, like, yeah, you live in a racial world. Like, you live in a world where there's racism, but you don't really know that you can live and thrive outside of the system that you were made in. Like, you don't really know that you can survive outside of this system, because nobody around you is out of this system. Everybody around you is caught up in this system. So a lot of times, bro, the only way you see is school and the job. That's the only way. And they know that way wasn't made for Black people. I'm just gonna keep it up, be straight up 100. It wasn't made for us. That system of going to school and doing all of that stuff wasn't made for us. So that's what I'm saying, bro. That whole system.
Of course not. Like, yeah, we built the universities.
Exactly. So yeah, so I'm saying though, like, they already are aware that there's racism in the world, but most people just don't know, you know what I'm saying, that it's possible to survive, you know what I'm saying, without the system. Because you've been stuck in the system for so long, you think that you've been doing right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you think this is right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been set up your whole life, and your parents' lives have been set up this same way. You know what I'm saying? To survive. You know what I'm saying? The best way to survive as a slave in America is to get an education and to get a good job. So basically, that's all it's been. Just to be a slave in America and to stay alive, you got to get a job and get an education. That's gonna be your best life as a slave.
Right, as a slave.
Yeah, that's your best life as a slave. Having a good paying job, and that's it. You know, and an education, a good paying job in an education, that was supposed to be the American dream that they fed, you know what I'm saying, to the working class people. Like, that's what they fed to the working class people, that the American dream was to make $100,000 a year, have a good education and a good paying job. and you work 40 years. The best slave, your best slave is going to work for you 40 years, and you're just going to give him a retirement plan. So, you know, with all of this going on and you being taught this in school your whole life, your parents been taught this their whole life. So, you know what I'm saying? You don't really understand that there is a life outside of the system that they gave to us.
Mm-hmm.
So you never been free, and your folks never really been free psychologically. That's why I said everything is mental. You never been free psychologically. So your best life is a life as a slave, but just a slave that got a good life, which is a good job. You know what I'm saying? And you just staying alive, surviving. That's a good life, but you still a slave. So
what if it's paying good?
Huh?
Like if it's paying good, it's paying good.
But okay, it's paying good. What's paying good exactly?
The job is paying great. The job is paying great. Like,
but is that all you want? You see what I'm saying? It depends on what that person want. You dig what I'm saying? Like I said, Harriet freed a lot of slaves, but she would have freed a lot more if they would have known they were slaves. You dig what I'm saying?
So you said they didn't even know they were slaves. That was just normal.
No, some of them did know they were slaves. They just was okay with being a slave. They fear. You fear going beyond what you know. Only thing you knew was being a slave. So you about to go be free. You never been free before. So it's like, you know, it's the fear of the unknown. You've never had freedom. The only life you know is the life you had as a slave, bro. And that's the same thing. The only life you know is going to school and going to work and paying bills and struggling. That's the only life most of us know. It's the same thing. It's just modern day, bro.
Right, man. It's more, and like you just said though, it's psychological.
Yes,
it's psychological.
Because you're really not a slave. Because right now, you're really not a slave, but you're a slave.
But see, you're not a slave because, there ain't no whips. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no plantation. But the plantations have been modernized. You know, they turn them into warehouses. You know what I'm saying? They turn them into, you know, it's different levels.
Let me put it like this, bro. The difference is you a free slave.
Elaborate.
You a free slave. See, back then, you was a bound slave. You couldn't leave the plantation. You tried to leave, they was gonna cut your foot off, whatever the price was gonna be for you to try to run away. But now you are a free slave. You can come and go when you get ready, and you can actually choose not to be a slave. You can actually choose not to be a slave now. Back then, you couldn't do nothing but be a slave. That was your only option. But now you a free slave, so you a slave only now because you want to be. Like because you got the freedom to not be a slave. That's why it's a free country. Like it's still racism going on, and it's still, you know, systematic racism, you know, but you still able to be free. But by choice, a lot of us, because of the lack of knowledge and because of lack of awareness, you be a free slave instead of just being free.
Right, man. And I feel like, you know, it's like all the things that's offered to you is to make you like miss the fact. It is offered to you to make you miss the fact. You know what I mean? You still exchanging what has the most value for what has the least value. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's dressed up so great. You know what I'm saying? It's dressed up so wonderfully. So like, how can you reject it?
How can you reject it?
Yeah, like because it looks so it don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying? It don't look that.
That's because it don't look that bad because you don't know what happened.
That's true. But even at the same time, your life and your time in the hands of somebody else. is more comfortable, more like more
Easier.
reasonable. Yeah. It's less complicated. Yeah, it's not complicated.
Because you don't know what happened. Once you really know what happened, once you really see what really happened, there's no way you can really see yourself the same way. Like once you really wake up and see, like I'm a slave. Like everything I got, everything I own, I got it because I was working for the master. And if he was to fire me, it's a chance that I may lose everything that I own. That's not free.
Nah.
That's not freedom, bro. That's not freedom. So it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you really know, if you really wake up and see like you a slave, there's no way you can be the same, bro. The only way you can continue to get up and go to work is if you don't believe that you're a slave. Or you can believe you're a slave and you just don't care, bro. Or, you know what I'm saying? Some people's life, right? That's what I'm saying. We've been going through this so long. Now we can't quit our jobs. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us are in situations where you can't even stop being a slave right now. Like you got to continue to be a slave until you build something of your own, because you don't been a slave for so long. You ain't got nothing for yourself. So now you can't even quit being a slave until you build something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what most people are. It's sad, but that's what most people are. Some people, we stuck being a slave. But now it really depends on that person. If that person is willing, see, that's why we need group economics. See, that's what I'm saying? Like, we have to all be in one accord. Like, we have to all be, you know what I'm saying, side by side, because if we was to do this together, all of us would be free. If we was, if every African American or everybody that got African American in their blood, like if everybody are descendants of any slave, if they were to walk off their jobs today, and we all was to have a pact, if everybody was together, you did what I'm saying, and everybody covered everybody, we'll be good, because we won't be dependent on the system. If we had some organization going. You know what I'm saying? We had an organization going. We got, you know what I'm saying? We have our own organization. Of course, that's going to take years for us, to implement and get organized and whatnot. But I'm saying, though, a start would be us depending on ourselves. Now, going through whatever we have to go through. Now, of course, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Some going to lose their houses. Some going to lose their cars. But if we stick together and be with one another, we can get through it. And all it takes is us stand 10 toes down with one another. And we can rise up. You did what I'm saying? And that's what it is, bro. We're going to have to just swallow the thought of those years that we're going to have to put in that work, that hard work of being by ourselves and surviving on our own. But once we get past those years of setting ourselves up, man, it's going to be so beautiful. It's going to be so beautiful because you're not going to be dependent on someone else. Nobody else is controlling what you do every day. You did what I'm saying?
Most definitely, man. I feel like, that, the implementation, of racism, like it divided us so bad, you know what I'm saying? And I heard a terminology today, man. I think it's called intro racism.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that? It's called intro racism.
I never heard of that, bro. I haven't heard of that.
So, all the years of, nigga, coon, then you start calling each other that, then you start feeling some way about each other, and you divide the race. Now the race is internally against one another. You know what I'm saying? Like through the implementation of racism, like it was already known that if we bust up the unity, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be hard for them to come together anyway.
Yes, sir.
So like we ain't gonna just dig the grave, like we're gonna put the nail in the coffin. You know what I'm saying? So like it was 100% psychological. You know what I mean? And
like
systematic. Yeah, systematic. Yeah, it was a whole psychological system. You know what I'm saying? That was designed, to oppress. You know what I'm saying? Like And like now, it ain't just black slaves.
Let me hold that thought, bro. Let me go ahead and open up the lines, man. For anybody who want to join the conversation live, I know we've been on here for a while. It's going on about it's been a minute. So with that being said, if anybody want to actually join the conversation live and actually give your input on it, you can click the link that's in the caption to actually join the conversation, and I'll accept your your request to join the Zoom. But we really want to get you guys in this conversation. You can talk about the power of the tongue, or you can talk about what we're talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? Because they both ties into together, because the power of the tongue came from, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't really notice our power and notice the power of the tongue because we're not aware of who we are. And the reason why we don't know who we are is because of all of these things that's happened from generation to generation to generation. We don't really know who we are. So because we don't know who we are, we don't know what we can do. So that's the problem. We just got to make people more aware. So with that being said, if anybody want to actually join the conversation live, feel free to do that. Feel free to do so. You can continue, CFO.
But yeah, man, it was implemented just for that purpose, man. Because believe it or not, your enemy knows a lot more about you than you do. You know what I'm saying? They study you more than you do. You know what I'm saying? So because I'm pretty sure before they approach these people, they watch them. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure before before they, went and got them, they examined them or whatever, at the start of it, you know what I'm saying? So they knew the capability. Look at this country. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Look at this country, dog. Like, look at this country, man. And I was listening to an interview today, man, from Godfrey, man. Vlad was interviewing Godfrey, man, and they was talking about that. That's why I said that, they built black people built the doggone schools, man, the universities, man, like they built them, but it wasn't built for us. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just gonna say, but all of that came out of being oppressed.
It's so messed up because, well, it's really not. I really don't even want to say it's messed up. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful to see how great a people can be.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like all the ideas, like, all of the stuff that's patented,
Exactly. And see, that's the part that I want to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really care to keep talking about, what they did to us, but I really want to look and see what we did for them. Let's talk about all of the great things, you know what I'm saying, that we did and all of the accomplishments, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what people need to see. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times when we talk about slavery, we talk about the beatings, we talk about all of the things, but when you just brought up the inventions and all of that stuff, like, let's talk about that, because I believe that that's what our people need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are capable, like, even without no education, we invented things. Like, so that tells you right there, you don't need to go to college to be great. Like, because you invented things without knowing how to, you invented things without knowing how to read. You invented things without knowing how to write. Like, so come on now.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, they didn't even allow them to read. They didn't allow them to read, bro. Like, how can you get these great things? These such great things. Like, how can you get them? You ain't even got the resources. You know what I'm saying? But we are resourceful. Like, we'll take something and make, you know that saying, like, make something out of nothing.
Right, bro.
You feel what I'm saying? Literally. So, like, what we were given was nothing. Right. But look what we produced. Look what was produced. Look what was produced. Like, nigga, whip, hang. Look, rock and roll, jazz. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop. You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro. All of it, pop, everything, bro. All of it. Like, black people did it. You know what I mean? And it came from a place of, I know it came from a place of sincerity. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way it is.
And that's what the hood need. This is what the hood need, man. Like, you remember I was talking about, I said it in the car one day when we was talking. I said a lot of times people don't got no spirituality is because they their mind blocked up with with life and natural things. So I'm saying though, bro, like this is like the foundation of like that'll open somebody's mind to accept a lot more information. The first thing you got to know is who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like all of the accomplishments, all of the knowledge of our history, this is what needs to be taught in the projects. This is what needs to be taught in the hood. And I'm glad I just got that answer because I've been looking for it. So really, I just got my answer just talking to you right now. Like, this is what people need to know in the projects. This is what people need to know in the streets. They need to know their worth. You know what I'm saying? They need to know their value and they need to know where they come from. You did what I'm saying? Like, we come from greatness. We are great. And once you realize who you are, it's some things that you like, hey, I can't even do that like that because you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be doing some up stuff because of who I am. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we do low life stuff because we don't think much of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
That's true. And also, you don't even really see, like how it's gonna affect you. You know what I mean? Like you don't even understand like, the power of the mind. Like you don't really understand it. So like you just going along with life, surviving, you know what I mean,
bro.
and not living, not deliberately living. You know what I'm saying? Like we deliberately survive, bro. We deliberately survive, bro. Like, but when it gets to a place, man, where you can understand like the value of yourself individually, man, and the value of your roots. You know what I mean? Like look and see, like check it out. But that's not fed. That's not fed. You know what I mean? That's not broadcast.
Somebody wants to join, bro. Somebody trying to join.
Okay.
I definitely want to. Let's get ready to admit them. Welcome. Let's see. Oh, it's actually a few. Ooh, it's a couple people want to join. Let's talk about it. Let's talk.
Hi, bro.
Hello,
Hi.
Kings. Everybody. Oh, it's a lot of people joining, my man. I hope. Let's see what's going on.
Wow.
Let's just see what's going on.
Where are you from?
Hello, niggas.
How's it going, my brother? How's it going? I can't see you. Do you want? Are you able to video?
Hello, my bro. You are
Nazi.
crack. You're the base.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you, nigga.
Goose
leg, you suck.
Fuck.
Motherfuckers. Oh, you motherfuckers.
Oh, man, you are the other one, man.
You're the best. You are the best.
You are the another one. You are the another man. Man, you are the another one. Man,
I don't even know what y'all saying.
Man, you are.
Okay, remove them.
Nah, I think that's why you playing though, man. But it's really not a laughing matter. Like,
hey, really bro, we're not finna get them no attention. Nah, hey, that's dead. But yeah, bro, this is what we need to do, bro. Like, people need to see this in the hood, man. Like, people really need to know this information because of identity, bro. When you don't know, bro. Because I was thinking about a dude's story named Quando Rondo. You remember that rapper I told you that's from Savannah and we went to the same elementary school? I heard his story. I heard his story, and man, he went to juvenile so many times because he was actually given up by his mother, at 2 years old. And he was raised by his grandmother, but his grandmother, you know what I'm saying, it's a product, you know what I'm saying? Like, if his mom was like that, his grandma, you know what I'm saying, he loved his grandma and his grandma loved him or whatever, but she didn't really have no control like that either. So he was basically raised up, you know what I'm saying, by his homies in the streets. And you don't really have, no direction on right or wrong, because when you're in the streets at a young age like that, you know what I'm saying, like 8, 9 years old, you don't really have no structure, you know what I'm saying, nobody there to tell you, excuse me, what to do and what not to do, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need a stronger role in your life to steer you in a direction. You know what I'm saying? It's harder, you know what I'm saying, for a male to be raised by just a woman. You know, it's harder. So you need a stronger role. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes you got to slap them back in line. But you know, when you don't have that discipline, you know, it's open season. So when I was listening to his story and how he went to juvenile for so many times, I really realized, man, it's like he didn't know right from wrong. And the only thing to teach him was juvenile, going back to juvenile over and over again. He had to go over and over and over and over again to realize, like, hey, they really trying to tell you that this wrong. And so I take that to say, like, it's the same thing with life. When you don't know, you just don't know. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know what you don't know. So you continuing on what you don't know. And like, that's what you're going to do. You only do what you know. So it's just like we was just saying, that exposure. We just got to expose them. You know what I'm saying? We just got to expose as many people as we can, you know what I'm saying, to great information.
Most definitely, man. I feel like, you know, like you just said, man, like, you know, just putting this out, man, you know, the accomplishments, you know, not just the negativity, but look what the negativity produced. You know what I'm saying? It's just like coal and diamonds, you know, it takes pressure to produce diamonds. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of pressure to produce diamonds. And, you know, in digging for diamonds, bro, like they got to go under the ground. They got to go deep in the ground. You know what I'm saying? And that's where they come from too. You know, I know you see them panning for them, you know, in the movies and stuff. Like that's where they come from. Like they come from under the ground. Like they come deep. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be something that actually touches that part. Like it goes down and touches that deep part. You know what I mean? See, consequences. See, that's another thing, man. Like we get it, you know, twisted, man. Like trouble is a bad thing. Trouble is a bad thing if you deliberately get in trouble. You know what I mean? You're supposed to live and you're supposed to learn. You feel me? But I feel like a lot of, you know, your training, the best parts of it come out of trouble.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It comes out of trouble. So that's what I'm saying, man. Like it takes pressure to produce diamonds. And look at everything that came out of oppression.
Exactly, bro. Greatness, bro.
Yeah.
Greatness, bro.
Yeah, man.
Bro, when you being pushed to any limit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Being pushed to any limit.
Bro, what you saying that, bro? Like, can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine? I couldn't imagine, man. You know, and I think that's why, you know, this generation this generation right here, the 60s and the 50s, might have been a lot of dead people, man.
Right, bro.
Been a lot of dead people, man.
Man, what?
Yeah, man. Like I know that much. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be a battle. You know what I mean? If slavery was tried to be, you know, if they tried to implement it like it was, you know, traditionally, you know, it'd be a battle.
I beg to defer, bro.
You think so?
I bet the only reason is not like that, bro. Because let's be real, bro. If this country wanted it to go back to where it was, it'll be there, bro. Let's be real, bro. You know how much money do they put into the military? Like if they put the troops out here in these streets, bro, it will go right back. So I'm just saying.
I mean, it'll be I feel you.
But my point is, the only reason it's not going there is because America is so stubborn, and they don't want to be made up. They don't want to be shown up on their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So they saying that it's the land of the free. You know what I'm saying? All these great things has been saying about this country. They don't want to see the day that it becomes true, bro. Like they don't want to see the day that everything that people has been saying becomes true. That's why they put on for it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they lie. You know what I'm saying? That's why they keep cover about all of the secret things that be done, because if everything was out, people will automatically know that the country is not what it said it is.
Right.
So that's the only reason why it won't go back. But that's why they disguise it. They disguise it so they can still keep, you know what I'm saying, they little look, they facade on, but at the same time, they system can still be going. So
and it still is going. It still is going.
It still is going because of the simple fact that it's so many of our people that are uneducated. And that's the number one reason why it's still continuing to go. It's like I said earlier, like when you don't know you're a slave, you know what I'm saying? You don't know you're a slave, so you're not operating in life like you're a slave. Because in your mind, you don't know you're a slave. You're going about life like how you're supposed to go. Like in your mind, it's how you're supposed to live. You don't really know. So, you know how many people? It's millions and millions of people that's like that.
Mm.
So it's like, it's been years and years of this systematic, you know what I'm saying, racism, to the point where they can kind of let a little truth come out on the sly. They can afford to do that because it's not gonna meet everybody. It's not, that information is not gonna meet.
It ain't gonna make no big interruption.
Right. It's not enough. It's not enough of it. It's not enough. It's not enough. Right. You're not able to get that information out to the masses that quickly like that. Now, social media has made it a lot difficult for them. Mm-hmm. So the social media has made things a lot more difficult. But I can say, you know what I'm saying, like, and that's why some people that have big platforms die or, you know, get taken off because they can reach millions of people at one time. So you got to think about it. If my platform got 3 million people in it, my network is 3 million strong. People watch my stuff, right? So if I get on here and talk about the country and some secret, you know what I'm saying, that the masses don't know, I got 3,000 people viewing me.
Right.
So even if everybody, even if all those 3 million people don't believe what I said, it's a big percentage of those people who will look into it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the shit that said what I'm saying. That's why they kill people. You know what I'm saying? They got these agencies that take people off. You did what I'm saying because of simple information. But anyway, man, we see that it's coming up to a close, man. We've been on for a long time. We're gonna continue to tell people that they can join this Zoom because we're gonna keep doing this until somebody joins. You did what I'm saying? Until somebody join the conversation. Just like we started, you know, with the comments. Everybody don't come in all the time, but you know, we're gonna wait for that person, you know, that's confident enough to get on here and have this conversation, put themselves on the back burner, you know what I'm saying, and give some valuable information for other people. Because you're not getting on camera to be seen. You did what I'm saying? You getting on camera, you know, to have conversation about a topic that can possibly help a lot of people. So it's basically a sacrifice. So if you want to join the conversation and you feel like, you know what I'm saying, that you could have some valuable information to go along with what we're saying, do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. You know, we're not going to bite you. We're really looking for people to talk to about this. So if you have some information that you can enlighten us on, you know, feel free. So going forward with every podcast, we're giving y'all the opportunity to join live. And also, we're going to transition into the incremental movement. We do have to say that each and every last podcast, because this is a serious online community that we created. And the main goal of this community is to have an environment of people who are goal setting and who are motivated and achieving their goals. And what our job is to keep people motivated and creating a judge-free environment for these people, you know, so they can share their progress, whether big or small. And the main thing is that we hold you guys accountable and keep you guys encouraged, because that's a lot of the problem with people trying to accomplish their goal. We have a hard time staying motivated. We have a hard time staying disciplined. We have a hard time holding ourselves accountable, you know. So yeah, but we finna go ahead and log off. You can actually follow and like the incremental movement. We are at 85 now. We're going to close the group at 100 and actually be working hands-on with a lot of people who are working on goals. So go and like, also the website at fnfstore.com. We have a YouTube. All of these things can be found on our website at fnfstore.com, and we will put it in the comments after the podcast. So all of the information that you need could be found at our website. Anything that you have left to say, CFO? You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, man, I feel like we covered a lot of important points, man. So, you know, with all being said, man, Get up out of here.
Say no more, brother. Let me know when you get to the crib, and we'll link after that. And I guess that's all, man. That's all, folks. We'll see you guys next week for episode 39. I thank you guys for tuning into the show. Thank you for your likes and your shares. I'll check everything once I hop off of Zoom. Thank you guys again. It's the CEO, Mr. John Best.
CFO, Mr. Riley Best.
Two Kings is out. See you guys next week.